Welcome to the Grizz Pulse podcast, your backstage pass to everything Memphis basketball. Now, here are your hosts, Harrison Smith, Wilson Mefford, and Trip Fisher. Let's get it.
Welcome back to another episode of Grizz Pulse here on this Wednesday edition after the Grizzlies went 1-1 this week, and 12 is back finally, but when 12 comes back, another one exits in Zach Edey's injury, and we'll get to all of that in this episode of Grizz Pulse. All right, Wilson, what episode do we have coming up?
We've got episode 6 coming up. Let's jump right into the week
in
review. All right, let's go ahead and look at this Jazz loss. This is a really bad loss for the Grizzlies, kind of one that you'll probably look back at over the season and be like, man, I really wish we'd have won that game, and you should have won that game. But it was a pretty close game just throughout the whole game. Felt like the Grizzlies controlled kind of up until the fourth quarter. This was Ja's return on 12-12, so the energy was in the building. Me and Trip were both in there, and we could both of us would definitely say that the energy felt very good in the building. Wouldn't you say, Trip?
Yeah, I would say it was great to be back in the AM, going to the Grizz game. We had great seats. Wish we had gotten to the game a bit earlier, but that's okay.
That is fine.
Yeah, it was pretty fun to go to the game. I felt like, we just you prepare for guys like Markkanen, but then guys like Keontae George and Kevin Love come out and ball, and I don't know, man. I feel like Kevin Love was making every three that he shot, and I was kind of screaming at him like, "Oh, you need to hang him up," and then he'd hit a three, and I'd get so mad. But Meshack did point at me when I said, "Hey, go Vols!" So shout out Meshack.
Shout out Meshack. But yeah, Keontae George had 39, Markkanen had 26, and I think Kevin Love had, around 20?
at 23.
Yeah, so felt like we kept leaving Kevin Love open, and that did not pay out good for us. I also thought Isolo had some very questionable rotation decisions, kind of at the end of the third quarter and entering the fourth quarter. I know Tripp was saying it during the game, but it felt like Ja came out with in the third quarter with around 6 minutes left, and when he came out, we were up 9. And then when he came back in the fourth quarter, we were down 3. But we at the beginning of the fourth quarter, I know we got down at least 9 or 10. So it kind of felt like he stuck with the bench unit a little too long. And that's something that you haven't been able to say a lot this year. The bench has really kept you in games, and they've really, like in the Clippers game, they definitely won you, or Cam Spencer on the bench won you that game, but the bench unit played really well in the Clippers game. But, I just thought he sticked in the Jazz game. I thought he stuck with some of those guys in that lineup that really wasn't producing much.
Yeah. I just watched the game, and then I went back and watched some of the highlights. And really the turning point in the game was around the 5.5 minute mark was when we hit, I think it might have been like a 3. It was actually a 2 or something like that. And we took I think it was a 78-90 lead. And then from that point until the end of the third quarter, they went on a 25-7 run. I think it was 97 to 103 going into or 103 to 106 going into the fourth quarter, something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Really, that run was so Keontae George wasn't even on the court. Dude who dropped almost 40 on us. It was Kevin Love during that 5-minute span that killed us. And the Unks have just killed us this year, dude. Harrison Barnes has given us 2 L's basically against the Spurs. 2 games we should have won, in my opinion. And then this is a game I also think we should have won. You can never factor in Kevin Love dropping a season high 23 points, but we just let him do it. That frustrated me.
Yeah, it's one thing when Keontae George drops 39, Markkanen at 26, but it's just the players like Kevin Love that you can't let beat you. If you're gonna kind of let the Jazz's stars go out and be stars, you can't let another rotation guy beat you.
Yeah. I do think our rookies did show that they were better this game. Like, I think Ace Bailey, the only cool thing he did that game was that little reverse dunk, whatever. Cedric Howard played really good this game, and Walter Clayton had a big fat donut. So I feel like Coward proved that he was the better rookie out of those guys.
Yeah, I agree. And yes, I would say this is definitely a bad loss, but I mean, if you go look at the Jazz, I know the Jazz just beat the Mavericks in overtime, and Keontae George again had 37. So this isn't like the Jazz weren't playing bad and we just came in and played awful. Like you got beat because they played good and you had some minor mix-ups. I mean, this isn't the end of the world loss, but it's definitely one that you're going to look back at.
Yeah, the Jazz, they're kind of hot right now. I think they've won like 5 out of the last 8. They started out pretty bad to start the season, but I think we'll kind of figure that out.
Yeah, I don't think this is anything to overreact about, but I was pretty nervous going into this Clippers game. I thought Edie not playing, it's the third time playing him, you're going to LA. Edie's kind of been the difference maker in the first 2 times you've played him, I've thought, just because he's against Zubac. I thought Zubac was going to give us fits, but the Grizzlies came out firing. Jaren was at one point was like 9 of 10 and had like 20 in the first half. Then Cam Spencer went on an absolute heater late in the game. And it was, the bench was super into it. This was kind of you're like, oh shoot, we just lost to the Jazz. Like, what is this about to look like? And then you come out and get a good one in LA.
Yeah, I feel like Jaren really like found his old self this game. Like he went 4 for 5 from three and had 31 points, and that stepped up big for us with Edie out. And I think like if we continue to see this from Jaren, that'd be really good. But like I think who had the career night was Cam Spencer. Like he looked like Steph Curry out there, going 7 of 10 from three and had 27 points. That's pretty good. I mean, looking back at that rookie class, well as Edie and Spencer, that's a pretty good rookie class right there.
That's a 3 for 3, like home run right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the $1 billion old folks home that the Clippers have built, I've dogged on them in the past. They nearly got us last game, but I feel like this one, especially in the fourth quarter, we kind of pulled it away. Kind of early, first 6 minutes of the third quarter, they cut it. I think it was like a 1-point game, and then from then, Jaren kind of took over. He had already been playing well, and then Cam Spencer, we had some role guys getting some points in there. Coward, KCP played well. And then fourth quarter, who you gonna call?
24.
Yeah.
I'm calling 24
Spencer,
now.
Spencer. Cam Spencer, baby. Dude, I didn't expect to like call it as much as I did. Handing the keys over to him, like I said last week. But like, are you kidding me?
I know, and we're not even talking about the Jazz game. He was 6 for 6 from 3.
He's actually second in 3-point percentage in the NBA right now, behind who is it? I don't know, some guy on the Rockets, I think. But and then he's like second or third in true shooting percentage, which is a stat that's traditionally like a lot of like bigs that kind of dominate that category, guys that are taking like high percentage like paint shots. Edie. Yeah. Not typically guys that are just shooting 50% from 3, which is what he's doing right now. So he needs to be, people need to know his name, dude. He needs to get some media coverage. People need to know who this guy is because he's going to be big.
Yeah. And he's making it tough for the coaching staff once you get Pippen and Jerome back. There's no doubt that Cam Spencer will play a huge role when both those guys come back. But Cam Spencer's unreal, but so is Ty Jerome. I don't know Pippen's stats from last year off the top of my head, but I do know he averaged about 20 in the Thunder series.
Yeah, he really did.
Scottie Pippen is I would consider Scottie Pippen as a proven point guard in the NBA, and I would also consider Jerome the same thing. And Spencer's not as proven, but that is no reason for Cam Spencer to not get minutes. So that's going to be a real decision for the coaching staff, and a decision that I hope ends in Cam Spencer getting some big minutes down the stretch.
Yeah, he played 30 minutes in that Clippers game. I want to see more minutes looking like the only thing is we already talked about earlier how like we feel like our stars aren't getting the minute. Obviously, Ja's on a minutes restriction, or like that's kind of what it seems like, and he got hurt in the end of the Clippers game. But we've already talked about how like our stars don't really get the minutes that like other teams' stars do on a regular basis. And I'm interested to see how when you add potentially 3 more guys who are going to fight for minutes, and Clark, Jerome, and Pippen to that. I wonder how it's going to look, but man, I think he's trying to do everything he can to like prove that he needs to get those minutes.
Yeah, and honestly, it'll be a miracle if we can get all of those guys healthy at once.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're kind of skipping over this Jaren performance. I mean, it was unbelievable. I just loved at the beginning of the game. It was like the game plan to start the game was get Jaren the ball. I think the first 4 or 5 shots were Jaren shots. He got fouled one time, and I think he was 3 for 3 to start the game or something. But it was just, I loved that how intentional it was on getting Jaren the ball, and that's not been the goal, honestly, until this point in the season. And it was kind of like we're gonna ride Jaren, pause, until. But yeah, I think that was a big step, and honestly, something I didn't see Isolo doing.
Yeah, I think he had like 21 through like the first quarter and a half, and then he didn't take as many shots in the second half. But
yeah,
we didn't.
They were doubling every time Jaren would touch the ball.
It opened up a lot of opportunities for other guys to go get some buckets. Obviously 2 steals, 5 blocks. That's like some Jaren Defensive Player of the Year right there that we saw 2-3 years ago. That we hadn't really seen this year. Still doesn't rebound. 4 rebounds. I mean, dude's allergic to grabbing the ball off the rim, but whatever, I guess. This is kind of like not on what we've been talking about, but I just from like the couple of like things I've seen from Ja out there, I like the way he's attacking the basket. I feel like he's doing it in a way we didn't see. Obviously, everybody saw like the Ja almost Morant poster on Kevin Love against the Jazz. Just like a little rewind. But I think like we're seeing some of those flashy finishes and some of those like hard aggressive takes. It feels like he's playing more like how he wants to play, and then hopefully the efficiency will come because it kind of needs to. But I like the way he's playing.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, when we go look at the Jazz game, he was not efficient at all, but he was getting to spots, and he was also getting destroyed and was begging for a foul call. The media was destroying the refs, saying that all the stars in the league get those calls and Ja doesn't. Like that just doesn't make sense. And then I thought in the Clippers game he was 4 for 12, and I felt like a lot of those shots he was getting to his spots, he's just missing. He had a couple really bad misses in the Jazz game where it's just like he doesn't have his touch completely. But I mean, he hasn't played in a while. He's going to figure that out, and I'm not too concerned about him like being super like inefficient, because I think if you go look back at his last 2 seasons, he had 7 games 2 seasons ago, and then last season he had 9 games where he shot under 35% or under 40% or 35%, and he's already at like 9 this year. So he's just having an inefficient year, and I definitely think he's going to figure that out. Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of how the last week in review went. But let's go ahead and jump down to the Grizz Pulse topics of the week. Let's go ahead and start off with some injury updates. We'll kind of start with Zach Edey. And Zach Edey, we figured out this week right after the Wednesday edition of the podcast that Zach Edey was going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks with a stress reaction in his left ankle, I believe. Yeah. But it's kind of just a major blow for this Grizzlies team, and it feels like this team can't get healthy. I mean, it's honestly like comedy that you know, when Ja's playing or when Edie comes back, Ja gets hurt, and then when Ja comes back, Edie gets hurt. Like
Right.
it's just like wow.
We can't have both of them. They'd be too overpowered.
Yeah, that's
But
kind of been the sad reality of Grizzlies basketball over the last couple years. But on a good note, we have Brandon Clark coming back most likely this Wednesday, and I think that does a lot for this Grizzlies team. Jaren and Clark over the last however long they've played together are statistically really good together. They have a really good rating when they're both on the floor. So I think that's going to be really good and really helpful to this kind of struggling
yeah,
team when it comes to injuries.
BC also adds some good defense, and I feel like that's something we need on our team right now.
Yeah, he also definitely helps on I would just say the defensive and rebounding. And if you kind of go look at it, he's kind of the only like quote unquote rim runner we have right now with Edie being out.
Yeah, I don't know if he
Yeah,
has the bounce that he used to have like his rookie year, but definitely there's a role for him on this team. This team needs guys that are like taller than 6'5". Like, I mean, I don't know the numbers on it, but I mean, like right now, do we have like how many guys do we have that are 6'5" and up? It's not a lot. But I think getting him back will be good. Obviously, losing Edie sucks, but that's just part of basketball. I think the way we're playing right now, hopefully we can keep stacking wins and keep rolling, man. I really like the way we're playing right now.
Yeah, and I do too. And I think getting BC back will definitely help with that. And kind of another thing to add to the injury update, we don't know. We're filming this on this Wednesday edition on a Tuesday, so the injury report will come out tonight, but we haven't seen that yet. But Ja rolled his ankle late in the fourth quarter against the Clippers, rolled it on Zubac's foot, and just another weird injury for Ja. It feels like it's never ending. But he stayed on the bench. It didn't seem like he was in excruciating pain once he kind of got past the initial adrenaline rush of it. But I don't know. I personally think he's gonna play,
yeah,
but you never know with him. I mean, we could get a thing in the next 2 hours that says Ja's gonna miss 3 weeks, and it's gonna be terrible. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping it's nothing. I assume, yeah, like if that was a must-win game, obviously we already up by a lot, but I think he'll probably get back out there if it was. Um, yeah,
Yeah, we'll definitely be praying for some good results there because, I mean, if this team takes another blow, I mean, they're already hanging on by a
we
limb.
can't take
So,
any more blows, dude.
no, we can't take any more blows. No pause. But let's go ahead and kind of get to our main topic of the week. And this is kind of what we're going to go off of, and that is going to be we're already kind of a third of the way through the season. You're sitting at 11 and 14. Who do you think will be the most impactful player for the last 2/3 of this Grizzlies season? Wilson, we'll go ahead and start off with you.
You know what? I started off thinking I was gonna go with Coward. That's who I was like in my head. I was like, all right, that's my guy. But dude, I can't. In good faith, I can't. I can't not go with Cam Spencer, dude. I like, you guys can hate on it all you want. I don't know why you would, because he's been balling for us. But number 24, dude, he's been playing twice as good as Ja. He's got 24, 12. Dude, it makes sense. Like, I think for us, is going to be the most important, especially because if he stays healthy, you never know what's going on with Ja, dude. He's a bit of a wild card. I love him. I love it when we have him out there, but like he's injured, he's suspended, he's got all this stuff going on. I think Cam Spencer is gonna be like stay healthy for us. He's gonna be like a consistent guy that this team can go to and rely on. The dude's got double-digit points in his last 10 games. Just in case you're wondering, in the last 10 games, we're 7-3. He's been getting more minutes. There's a direct correlation there, and it's that Cam Spencer's been getting more minutes. Like I said, second in 3-point percentage in the NBA. Dude's shooting above 50%. And it's not like he's not shooting. He's shooting a lot of threes. A lot of these guys up there are probably not shooting as much as him. He's shooting a lot of threes. The dude is making half of the threes that he takes. That to me is crazy. He's up there in the true shooting percentage, which is a important stat. A lot of the top guys are up there, especially Shea is in the top 10, I think. I mean, how can you not say this guy is not going to be important? If he keeps this level of play up, what's the ceiling for this team? I don't know. I think it's a playoff spot.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I was actually going to go Jalen Wells, but now that Coward is on the table, I'll go Coward. Coward has been a really good defensive weapon for us, little mini Kawhi out there, but he also knows how to score the ball and get rebounds. He had the most rebounds for us the other day, when Jaren and Jock were on the floor. I think Edie was hurt though, but that's still pretty impressive for a rookie who's not the tallest guy out there. But yeah, I feel like he played pretty good defense against Ace Bailey in that Jazz game, even though Ace was a bit taller than him. But like also, we talked about last week how Wells said on a podcast that Cedric is one of the leaders in there, even though he's a rookie, which is pretty impressive. And if he continues to be that kind of leader, I think that would really impact this team for the rest of the season, whether that's on the court or off the court.
Yeah, definitely. I think both of those guys are going to have to be major role players for us to be good, honestly. But with that being said, I think in my opinion, I think the most impactful player is going to be Zach Edey. I know he just took an injury, is going to be out for a couple games, but he's going to come back, and it's become very clear that the Grizzlies are better when Zach Edey's on the floor, and you can't argue that. So far, he's averaging 13 and 11, and that is on a really small sample size where he's not been playing a bunch of minutes. If you go look at his per 36, which means if he was playing 36 minutes a game right now, he would be averaging 19 and 15. I mean, that's pretty, that's all-star numbers in my opinion. If he's doing that and adding 2 or 3 blocks on that, Zach Edey's an all-star. I mean, do y'all agree with that?
He's got to stay healthy.
I'm just saying, let's just hypothetically say that Zach Edey is averaging 19 and 15 and 2 blocks a game. Do y'all think he's an all-star?
I think it's probably close. I think you could probably make that argument, but
yeah. There's some pretty good centers in the league, though.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, that's insane.
He would be up there in rebounds. If he was averaging 50, you said 15 rebounds
per 36 minutes.
Yeah, I mean that would clear a lot of guys. I mean, he's already averaging. What is he? He's
at 13 and 11 right now.
11. Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's got the qualified.
He needs to get the playing time. Yeah.
He doesn't have the qualified number of games because of injuries, but I think he's up in the top 5 rebounds per game in the games that he has played.
Yeah, it's been pretty unreal to see how efficient he is. And while we're kind of on the efficiency numbers, Zach Edey's offensive rating, when Zach Edey's on the floor, the offensive rating is 114. The defensive rating is a 96.8. His net rating is plus 17.3. I mean, if you kind of take out the Thunder because the Thunder are so dominant, that is one of the best ratings in the NBA, period. So you just see how efficient Zach Edey is when it's not only on the offensive or defensive side, but he just kind of brings this team together. It feels like he's really the missing puzzle piece when it comes to all this. And we're saying all this when he hasn't even played with Ja. I think Edey maximizes Ja, and I think Ja maximizes Edey. So it's we're saying all this stuff, and they haven't even played together yet. I mean, in my opinion, the sky's the limit when both of those guys are on the floor and healthy, which who knows if we'll ever get to see that. But I really think, when Edey comes back, he'll be on a minutes restriction and he'll be working through that. But once he gets up to where he's really playing a big chunk of the game, let's say he's playing 33, 34 minutes consistently, which wonder if Isola will ever play a guy that much. But I mean, he's going to be putting up some serious numbers and he's going to have some serious games. And even when he's not doing that, or putting up like insane offensive numbers, he's going to be doing his work on the defensive side. And, I don't think it's a coincidence if we go and look at the Jazz game. That's the first game without Edie. I was kind of wondering, like, how is this going to look with, Jock's not a super physical big that gets a ton of rebounds. And, I mean, go look. I mean, the Jazz scored 130 points. I mean, that does not happen with Edie on the court. I know Nurkic had 17 rebounds. And kind of another unk right there.
He's a beast, dude. They said it on their. I was watching the Jazz broadcast. He's a really good screen setter. So
yeah, but it's like, dude, that dude's not getting 17 rebounds with Edie. You can't change my mind about that.
No,
but yeah, I definitely think all three of those guys are going to be huge down the stretch for the Grizzlies, and you need those guys to be healthy. And yeah, definitely. Now let's kind of go and let's kind of do like a little NBA loop, kind of get everyone in the loop on the NBA right now.
I feel like all these teams are doing good are in the West. Like the West just can't catch a break. Nuggets had a good win yesterday against the Rockets. Jokic is playing out of his mind. And Shea is also playing very good. Yeah, I feel like the West is just so good right now.
Yeah, the West is really deep. And the Grizzlies are now half a game behind the Warriors, 2 games behind the Suns in the 7th spot. But if you go look at the strength of schedule, I mean, it goes from the hardest. This the hardest schedule is remaining. It goes Oklahoma City, Denver, Minnesota, San Antonio, Golden State, Dallas. If you cut out Dallas at the end, the top 5 teams are all ahead of you in the West.
yeah,
And so that's very encouraging to me, because I mean, the Timberwolves, let's just say if you wanted to get into that 6th spot, you would need the Timberwolves to fall, and they've got the 3rd hardest schedule left. So that's definitely encouraging in the stance that you can definitely get back into that playoffs and not the play in, which you don't want to be at the play in.
I think. Yeah, I think we've got a good shot to kind of jump some of these guys we play to look ahead at the pulse check. We play the Timberwolves this week, so that'll be a pretty big game. 2 of the teams ahead of us are in the Southwest Division, in our division, the Rockets and the Spurs. Have we already played the Rockets twice? I know we played the Spurs twice.
We played the Rockets once.
Oh,
I don't think we played them twice.
So we'll play the Rockets 2 more times, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And then probably the Spurs 1 more time at least.
Yeah.
So definitely we're gonna get some shots to knock off some of these teams. Yeah, we just gotta keep winning, man.
We do. And speaking of winning, the Grizzlies have some opportunities to win this upcoming week. So let's go ahead and jump down to Pulse Check. The Grizzlies play 4 games this week until we meet next Wednesday, and those games are Timberwolves on Wednesday, so tomorrow, which for y'all would be tonight. That the game is on the road, and then they play the Wizards Saturday at home, and then you play OKC away, and then you play the Jazz on Tuesday away, and then we'll meet again. So I would say you have 2 games that you really need to win, and then the Timberwolves game, I feel like it's a toss-up, and then I'm just going to say you're not winning that OKC game.
No, they're good. They're really good. I agree. I feel like the Wizards Jazz game, you got to win those. Like Wizards aren't a great team.
Wizards are horrible.
They're
You've
really
got to win
bad.
that. Like,
They're so bad.
Like, man, if you can't win that, like that's going to be another game where if you don't win that game,
Dude,
you're making it tough on yourself.
Jazz, we gotta get our get back. That's away, but like you're not beating OKC. I feel like the T-Wolves are pretty good. They got my guy Ant, my day one Ant. But anyway, that's the one player I'll glaze outside of the Grizzlies. But anyway, I feel like if we're going predictions, I think it's lose Timberwolves, win Wizards, lose Thunder win Jazz.
Yeah, Meth, what do you think?
So I think, let's see, we've got Timberwolves. I want to say, I want to take us with the win. I think if Ja plays and he's fully healthy and he gets to play a full, like, allotment of minutes, which is probably more unlikely since he, like, re-aggravated it, I, I think we win that game. Or at least I want us to. So I'm gonna try to manifest it. I'll say we'll win that game. Wizards, that's a big time dub. It's at home on a Saturday. Is it like are they doing the sweatshirt Saturdays? Is that a thing they're doing at the home games?
I think so. Yeah.
So
So go get you a
if you're in
sweatshirt.
town, go get a sweatshirt. And then hopefully, is Marvin Bagley still on the Wizards?
Yes, he's been playing good.
Hopefully he doesn't have a legacy game against us, which he probably will. And hopefully Keontae George's brother from another mother, they're not actually related, but hopefully Keyshawn George doesn't destroy us. Which he probably will. But OKC, it's not gonna happen. But I wish it would. And then Jazz, unless Kevin Love decides to turn into prime Cleveland Cavaliers Game 7 Finals 2016, then we're gonna win that game too. So I'm predicting 3-1 this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Timberwolves game. I think if Ja's playing is at full strength, I think you've got a really good chance. I don't know if I want to say that we win that game. You know, I feel like we match up. I feel like we play good against the Timberwolves over the last couple of years. I'm gonna say we lose that game. I think we win that game with Edie, but I don't think we win this game without Edie. You gotta have your difference makers on the court, and we just don't have that right now.
I think Gobert could be a problem for us, maybe.
Yeah, he could. So I'm gonna say lose that game.
Gobert.
Win the Wizards game. You're gonna lose the OKC game. I don't even know why we're covering that game.
Yeah.
And then the Jazz game where I think you'll win. So I think you're gonna go 2-2, and you'll end up back here at 13-16. Back when we meet again. So yeah, that's kind of our pulse check. But let's go ahead and jump down to the Grizz Pulse Player of the Week. I think we decided that who won? Was it me or Trip with Ja and Coward?
I think you won with Coward.
All right. Finally, man, we knocked Wilson off the throne of Grizz Pulse Player of the Week.
Let's quantify. I did pick Santi, and did I not say I'm going to pick somebody who has no shot at winning it?
And he almost did.
He tried to win it by dropping 22 in the first game, but then he did the invisible man and played 30 minutes. He did his best. Who was it? Tony Snell, the 0-0-0 stat line.
Yeah.
30 minutes. He played 30 minutes. He made 1 3. He was 1 for 5 from the field, and he didn't do jack crap.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, guys.
Yeah. So super hyped up about that dub. Super hyped up about that dub. But for this week, we'll go in the order of the best to worst from the last week. So it'll go me, Trip, and then Meth. So I'm gonna go ahead for my next player of the week. You've got an action-packed week. I'm gonna go Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells has been playing super good. He's been making a lot of shots. Been getting really crafty and making some plays out there. So I'm gonna go Jalen Wells. What about you, Trip?
I think after this performance that we saw at a Triple J, I think that he might be back. And I think with this schedule, I mean, you got the T-Wolves, you're going against Rudy Gobert, not a superstar as Flight would say, but he's also another defensive player of the year. And then Wizards, that should be easy money. Then OKC, I think that's not easy money. That's like hard money. But I think Jaren, after dropping 31 and going 4 for 5 from the 3, I think he'll get it done for us.
All right, Trip, Lucky has the curse with picking players. He hasn't won this week. He hasn't won a player of the week. He's the only one that's done that. I'm going to give Ja the blessing. That is me choosing him as the player of the week. So he's going to ball out this weekend. When he does, you guys can thank me.
I hope he doesn't get a report that he's not playing anymore for the rest of the week or something. That would be bad. I mean, bad for the team, bad for you. But yeah, that's going to wrap up this edition of Grizz Pulse. We have 4 games this upcoming week, and we will meet with y'all next Wednesday. And we also have some fun news, fun kind of breaking news, Grizz Pulse news coming at the end of the year. So y'all stay tuned for that. And we will see y'all guys next Wednesday. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Grizz Pulse podcast. If you enjoyed it, make sure to follow, drop us a rating, and tap that follow on all the socials. We appreciate you rocking with us. Catch you on the next episode.